tornadoes that ripped through our state yesterday, and unfortunately, the storms left some Oklahomans with nothing. And while you can replace your furniture, your cars, there are some personal items that we all know cannot be replaced, like pictures. And that's why it's so important to make sure you back up all of your information. And Jeff Cato is with CoreVault, joins us now with more on this. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Glad to be here, Amanda.
Okay, real briefly, your company specializes in backup?
That's exactly right. That's right. We help businesses really store and protect their information off-site for situations like yesterday, or if they just lost it through a computer failure.
Jeff, is this one of those things that we just think of after the fact, when sometimes it's too late?
That's exactly right. It's one of those things that your typical individual, day-to-day, busy lives, or your business owner is just trying to make ends meet, get things done from A to Z, and then, like you said, it's one of those things not until it's too late does he think about it.
Well, now let's start talking about it. So we will start thinking about it before it gets to that point. Now, you have some tips and things that people should be thinking about saving when it comes to their personal items.
That's right.
The first one's pictures.
Absolutely. I mean, if you ask any grandparent, they're going to tell you pictures of their grandkids, or if you've got just regular kids, you want pictures, you want videos, maybe music files. So to individuals, those are the things that are important. And if you look at it from a business perspective, they have other needs.
Okay, and I know also on the list, financial information and email correspondence. So if you have something that's just important to you, make sure you save it.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we're going to flip gears and say somebody owns a business.
Right.
A little bit different there on what may be important to save.
That's right. Some of the common things, your financial information, your emails, obviously. You have a lot of companies going paperless, so they have a lot of scanned documents or images. And then you also have customer databases. They don't want to lose that information that they've acquired and really built up over the course of years for their business.
Okay, so where do we even begin with saving this information?
There's a lot of different options out there. You know, for the individual homeowner, you know, that has maybe a computer at their home, you've got a couple examples up here. You have like a flash drive, and then you also have a CD. Those are for people that have very little amounts of data. They just want to make sure they have it protected in some way. If you look at it from...
Now let's pause there, because it's all fine and dandy if you have it on there and things break down. But what happens, I mean, at a tornado, because that could get damaged as well.
That's exactly right. That's one of the, you know, maybe struggles that individuals or businesses face is, what if I lose my business? And so any of these particular technologies, you have to really make sure either you're taking it off site, or you have to really, what we're seeing out in the industry, whether it's individuals or businesses, they're really migrating to some new technology, which is really more online backup that's out there and available for your homeowners, your end users, or your businesses.
Okay, we'll talk about that, but what is the other two items that you have here? I have not seen those before.
Yeah, good question. These are a little bit more common. You know, this is an external hard drive, right? So a lot of your homeowners can use that. And then what you see a little bit more common with businesses is not just the external hard drive, but also your tape drive. So these are very common and been around for decades for businesses, especially with larger volumes of information.
Now let's touch again on what you were talking about backing up your data off-site.
That's right.
What is that all about?
Well, you know, a lot of companies, disaster comes in a lot of different ways, right, with some of the things like yesterday, but it also can come in other forms. The number one reason for data loss is a hardware system failure. That's 44% of the occasions out there.
Been there, and I'm sure plenty of you guys have been there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what they're wanting to make sure and do is really protect that information, but it's got to be off-site in more of a secure location, you know, because you've got to ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to know it's secure off-site, but you got to be able to get that information back in a timely manner, and time is everything.
Your company does that type of thing. So will people then send you their documents, email you documents? How does that work? And then you store them?
Exactly. It's a real automated process. It's about pretty much the most secure way you can do it today, because what happens is we encrypt that information. It's stored off-site in our secure facilities. I encourage people to make sure they have it in 2 different locations so they're geographically separated, just like us. We have a site here in Oklahoma City. We have another one 120 miles away. So you want to make sure it's off-site in a couple of different secure locations that you know that information is protected.
Something like your company offers, what's that going to cost me?
You know what? It all, and like any of these items here today, it's all based on how much information you have. So if you're a small business with just maybe a gigabyte or 2, or at your home and you just got some photos, not very much. It could be $5, $10 a month. And if you get up to a business that maybe has a lot more information, then it just goes up from there.
Well, great things to think about now, and ask those questions now
Absolutely.
instead of later. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us. We
You bet.
appreciate it. And for more information on how to back up any of your information and valuables, you can go to news9.com and look for the Scene On News 9 tab and scroll over to First at 4.